Well, LSC Kepler, the Senior Counsel to Human Rights Watch, who spoke to us much earlier in the program, is back on Skype. She joins us live from New York. LSC, you were telling us your reaction to finding out that Omar al-Bashir was in Nigeria.
Nigeria is sending a terrible signal to victims in Darfur by welcoming Bashir. Bashir belongs in custody, not being hosted at conferences in Nigeria. And it's clear Nigerian activists want to see Bashir arrested, and that's why they've gone forward with court action to compel arrest.
But can they compel arrest despite, well, Nigeria belongs to the African Union, and right now the African Union does have a position on Omar al-Bashir, and they're saying that, well, the crimes have not been proven, so they're not going to go ahead and hand him over for any reason.
It's true that the crimes have not been proven, and Bashir is an alleged war criminal, and he should face fair trial. But he is a fugitive from the law. There have been arrest warrants issued. It is also true that the African Union has called for non-cooperation in the arrest, but the argument that Nigeria can somehow rely on the AU position as a basis for welcoming a fugitive onto its territory does not pass muster. Nigeria remains obligated to cooperate with the International Criminal Court. That obligation is not negated by an AU decision. And in fact, that's part of why the fact that so many other African states have shown leadership in a way that Nigeria has not done by avoiding visits by Bashir. That is one way that states have dealt with potentially competing obligations to the African Union and the ICC, and we would like to have seen Nigeria taken that step and shown leadership like governments such as South Africa in avoiding Bashir visits.
But South Africa is also one of the countries in the African Union also supporting the African Union stand. The idea, the feeling rather, in the African Union is that the ICC is going after mainly African leaders with no concrete steps taken towards other leaders on the continent or other leaders in the world. They're concentrating more on Africa. Omar al-Bashir, it seems, will probably be a free man for a very long time.
Look, this argument that Africa is somehow being targeted by the ICC is simply not supported by the facts. In 7 out of 8 of the court situations that are currently being investigated, either the states where the crimes were committed have asked the ICC to become involved, or the UN Security Council has requested involvement. So from Mali to Central African Republic to Darfur to Libya, these are situations that have not been at the prompting of the ICC itself, but by governments, African governments, or the Security Council. At the same time, it is true that the International Criminal Court has been limited in its ability to go after powerful governments, especially those that have the veto power at the UN Security Council. That veto power gives authority to restrict the ICC's involvement with states that haven't joined the court. There's an urgent need to work to expand the reach of the ICC, but the reality is that this court has not been targeting Africans, and that argument seems to gain resonance or traction despite the fact that it's not supported by reality, perhaps due in part to the terrible legacy of colonialism. This idea of targeting has traction, but it's not based in reality. And in fact, African activists across the continent, from Dakar to Freetown to Kampala, want to see African leaders support justice for victims in a more proactive, vocal way. And that means arresting al-Bashir, barring him entry, and seeing that justice for Darfuri victims is possible.
Well, thank you so much, Alice Kepler, Senior Counsel to Human Rights Watch there in New York. Thank you for speaking with us on The World today. I appreciate your thoughts on